And you know, Donald is a fragile soul. I mean, she might ask a mean question, and who knows what could happen. I mean, his hair could stand on end.
Let's say this out loud, stop all the foolishness, shall we? Donald Trump is not skipping the Republican debate because he's afraid of a certain network news talker. He's not holding court solo because he was insulted by a network honcho or a ridiculous tweet. And anybody who falls for that, put down the pacifier and blanket, because we're about to be adults and talk some sense, all right? A pleasure to do this with the syndicated radio talker and founder of the web content platform epictimes.com. We go around the dial, leave behind the nonsense with Jerry Doyle. Jerry, you and I are both holders of a Screen Actors Guild card. We both have worked in the movies before. We both know good acting and bad acting when we have seen it. The whole Megyn Kelly Trump thing, that's a bad acting job, brother.
You watch this play out and you just go, who's buying this? I mean, I've seen work that I've done in the dailies, and I think to myself, who didn't get hired? Because I know how lousy I was. And I see this whole this trilogy of sadness and tragedy playing out. And for me, it's very simple. I mean, Donald Trump politically is all icing and no cake. There's no there. You bite into it, there's nothing there. So what does he do? He takes a look at Tony Perkins' Family Research Council endorsing Ted Cruz. He looks at his ground game in Iowa and he starts to think to himself, I should be winning. I am winning. They tell me I'm winning. I'm a super rich. But I think he has some serious concerns about whether or not he has the ground game to get it done in Iowa. What's the one word that Donald Trump hates? Loser. He doesn't want to be a loser. What's the best way to not be a loser? Is have someone to blame it on. So if you sit out the Fox debate and you lose in Iowa, you blame it on Fox. If you win in Iowa, you say, see, I didn't need Fox anyway. So strategically for Trump, it'll work for him and his people either way.
All right. Now, there's something else about all this event that he's having. He says, I'm going to hold an event and I'm going to do it to raise money for the Wounded Warrior Project. Jerry, I got news for you. And I bet you did too. Get some notes from friends of yours who are wounded warriors, former veterans. Yeah. There's not one I know that wants his money. As a matter of fact, there's a couple of groups out there, Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America. They said, keep your money. To a lot of people, This is nothing more than a stunt, and they are using wounded warriors and veterans to get him votes. I've had some people tell me that they're insulted by this.
Same thing with Sarah Palin, and her kid punching his girl in the face and blaming it on PTSD and Obama's lack of attention to the veterans and what it is that they need. Not that that's not a valid argument, is that we do obviously need to do more for our veterans. But this is Trump saying, I want it my way. I'm going to do it my way. And I'm going to have my own event. And it's going to be a super event. It's going to be a fantastic event. And they tell me that all these other people want to be a part of my event. And it's all about the carny. It's all about step right up, see the bearded lady. This is Donald Trump using this as an opportunity to promote Donald Trump, which is what this entire campaign is all about. And I've got some serious issues with Wounded Warrior Project. I was the former president of the Easter Seal Society. I served on the board of trustees at Children's Hospital. I was on the board of directors of the Multiple Sclerosis Society. And I look at how much money, what percentage of funding goes directly to programs and services for the people that you're there to provide them for. And I've seen numbers on WWP anywhere between 54 and 58%, and that doesn't cut it. The number should be at least 80 in the 85% range. And if Trump does any good out of all this and causes people to take a look at how the money for WWP is being spent and where it's going to, then maybe that's the better outcome of what this fiasco is of this Fox debate and the Republican response.
Look, kids, we're not telling you don't vote for Donald Trump. If you want to, that's fine. But don't use the Wounded Warriors as part of a crutch here to go ahead and make your event happen. 30 seconds left. I just want to point out, according to Charity Navigator, about $124 million, or 40% of the donations to WWP were spent on its overhead. Jerry, that's criminal almost.
Yeah, it is. It's a sad state of affairs. I mean, this is no different than what the TSA was doing. If you remember back in 2004, they had an awards party. They've been in operation for 2 years, and they gave a Lifetime Achievement Award to one of their employees for an organization that had been in business for 2 years. You take a look at travel, you look at spending, you take a look at virtual employees at the GSA that aren't virtual. They're spending hundreds of millions of dollars in ways that they shouldn't be spent. If anything, again, if we get rid of waste, fraud, and abuse and have a higher degree of accountability because of this Trump show, then maybe there's something good that comes out of it.
And kudos to CBS News, actually, for digging into a lot of this. It's nice to see this, and let's hope that we can put this. We're going to keep talking about this, too, as a matter of fact. Check out the latest on this and much more at epictimes.com. Mr. Doyle, always a pleasure, my friend. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you next week. There are reasons why we no longer conquer the heavens. Next on the